Upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. Bhagavad-gita 4:34. You can understand the absolute truth simply by surrendering, not by testing the guru. It is ridiculous to think, I shall test the guru by seeing how much he knows. You are accepting guru because you don't know how to solve the problems of life. Then what is the use of testing guru? If you don't know, how will you know if he knows? You cannot know. That is not the way to find a real guru. Therefore, Arjuna says that besides you, Kṛṣṇa, there is nobody else who can actually satisfy me in this perplexed condition. Yat chokam ucchosanam indriyanam. My senses are being dried up. Because the superficial material senses are not actually our senses. Our real senses are within, covered by the material senses. Therefore, we have to inquire from Kṛṣṇa, because he is Hrishikesh, the master of the senses. Sarvopadi vinir muktam, tatparatvena nirmalam, hrishikena hrishikesha sevanam bhaktir uchyate. Bhakti, or devotional service, means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of all the senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One is freed from all material designations, and one's senses are purified simply by being employed in the service of the Lord. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1:1-12. To get relief from the illusion that our gross bodily senses are ourself, and to awaken our real spiritual senses, we have to serve Kṛṣṇa, Hrishikesh, the master of the senses. Kṛṣṇa is real, and we have to come to that same reality, that same ontological platform, the spiritual platform of consciousness. Then, when our senses are purified, we can serve Kṛṣṇa. Indriyani paranyahur indriyebhya parang manaha manasastu para buddhir yo buddhe paratastu saha. The working senses are superior to dull matter. Mind is higher than the senses. Intelligence is still higher than the mind, and the soul is even higher than the intelligence. Bhagavad-gita 3:42. These are different stages in the development of consciousness. This bodily concept of life means being engrossed in the material bodily senses. When you begin to transcend these senses, you come to the mental platform. When you transcend the mental platform, you come to the intellectual platform. When you transcend the intellectual platform, then you come to the spiritual platform and discover your spiritual form, your eternal perfect body. There are different grades and steps of consciousness and spiritual advancement. Similarly, there are different stages of knowledge, each with its own means of acquiring knowledge. On the gross bodily platform of consciousness, under the influence of the materialistic ontology, we demand pratyaksha jnanam, knowledge by direct perception. But since our bodily senses are imperfect, knowledge acquired on the bodily platform by direct perception is not real knowledge. It is temporary and conditional, just like the material senses. Therefore, the so-called scientific process of acquiring knowledge by the bodily concept of life, pratyaksha, or experimental knowledge, empiricism, it cannot give us the ultimate absolute truth. Experimental knowledge means everything must be verified by gross bodily sense perception. Thus, people who do not want to believe in the existence of God argue, well, we do not see God. But God is not such a subject matter that you can see with this pratyaksha, direct perception of your faulty bodily senses. One of God's many names is Anubhava. Anubhava means seen by indirect vision. Just like when we are inside a room, we do not see the sun directly, but we know that the sun is there because of its reflected light. you know it by indirect perception. You do not see the sun directly, but you know that it is daylight. So there are other processes by which you can acquire the same knowledge. In this way, Kṛṣṇa consciousness or spiritual perception is beyond the material senses. Therefore, the Lord is called adhokshaja, where direct perception cannot reach. So if direct perception cannot reach the Lord, then how can you perceive him, adhokshaja? Indirectly. Therefore, the method of receiving knowledge about spiritual life is shrotapanta, the path of hearing. Shruti, you have to take knowledge by hearing from the Vedas, and the Vedic knowledge is explained by the Guru. Therefore, one has to take shelter of Kṛṣṇa as the supreme Guru, and also accept his contemporary representative in the disciplic lineage. Then, simply by hearing from the right source, all the troubles and ignorance of material life can be dissipated. So, in Bhagavad-gita 2:8, the verse under discussion today, we finally come to the real problem. The real problem is not Arjuna's relatives or his gurus or the political situation or anything like that. That's just external. The real problem is Arjuna is feeling grief from material existence. And even, he says, even if I can win an unrivaled kingdom, that means a kingdom without any competition, no competitors, no revolutionaries, no challengers, with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven, in other words, unlimited power, then it's still not going to destroy his grief. That's everyone's condition here in the material world. So we may have this excuse or that excuse. Oh, my wife left me. Oh, I lost my job. Or, oh, I have some disease in my body, or this or that. That's just an excuse. The real problem is we have to die. Anything that we accomplish in this material world, anything that we experience, anything that we enjoy, is simply temporary. So when we think of this, in other words, when we think sanely, it tends to dry up our material senses and our sense of material enjoyment. And if we don't have any knowledge of spiritual life, this can be a quite uncomfortable situation. So Arjuna is in this situation, and he's feeling very uncomfortable. Oh, whether I win this battle or lose, it seems like either way, I'm not going to be happy. What can I do? But Arjuna is intelligent, therefore he turns to Kṛṣṇa for the answer. He doesn't try some artificial process of sense enjoyment, even though his conception is, well, Kṛṣṇa, tell me something that's going to make me happy, meaning that's going to make sense gratification easy for me. When we're confronted with the real suffering of life, the reality of birth and death, then sense gratification seems insignificant, and therefore it really is. So we have to get to a happiness or a platform of consciousness and enjoyment beyond the material senses. Take off this coat and gloves, this covering of the material senses, and realize our perfect body. We hope you've enjoyed this edition of My Perfect Body. This is David Hughes, your host, reminding you to visit us on the web at esotericteaching.org, where you can purchase the complete Esoteric Teaching Introductory Seminar DVD and many CDs of transcendental music and mantras.